So, hi, hello everyone. My name is Elena. And today I'm gonna tell you about our company and our engineers who got fed up with meetings and what did you do with it, what was the process and what were the results. So, couple of words about me. I'm a head of R&D and right now there are about 300 employees in R&D, and totally in engineering we have about 700 employees, just for you to understand our scale. I've been working here for the last 3 years, and for the last 8 months I'm living in Istanbul. Yeah, it is my new home. So, let's start with the problem. Basically, all of us, we just had too many meetings. And here we have a nice picture with example of how meetings and just general distraction doesn't help at all to people who try to code or try to focus in general. And the problem was the higher you get, the more meetings you had. So basically for the team leads, for the heads of horizontal structure, or for the heads of delivery units like Sergey, it was a total nightmare. And for me too, by the way. Here we can have a nice example of my real schedule. It is not a fake one. So it all started at 11 a.m. because we are from IT, correct? Yeah, so it is like a very early morning. And then I had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 meetings in a row without any breaks between them and without even a break for lunch. And basically, that's how I spent 5 days a week. It was a nightmare. And once it was me and my boss, Evgeny, we had a nice idea that we should establish a free of communications day. And by the way, this nice picture is from the article that I wrote about it. So, but of course there were a lot of concerns from all kinds of people. For example, that we have so many meetings that we will not be able to fit all of them into the rest 4 days of the week. And like, what about other departments? We can make some decisions only in R&D, but not in like for project managers or analysts or QAs or support, and how we will live with it. And what about our clients? Maybe they will not agree to follow these rules. What about the emergencies? How should we deal with them? And like, it was a common concern, the last one, this was knife from the developers. So all the meetings are stupid. Why should we make only 1 day free of them? We should kill all of them, like right now, you know? And there was some common concern from the managers that developers will use this free of communications day as an additional weekend. So how can we live with this? So we decided, yes, I basically decided to try it in some MVP format. We chose a day. It was a Wednesday. We decided that this MVP project should last for the next 3 months. And it should be done engineering-wide, so not only in R&D, but in all the divisions and directions connected to the development. And I put dummies in calendar, like a fake meeting all day long, for example, and it was done to prevent making this silence day to a sales day or to HR day, when people from outside of engineering would thought that we are available and put all of their meetings to Wednesday. And we should be moving all of our planned meetings, internal planned meetings, to another days, and we should ask customers to move their meetings too. And yes, basically, why Monday, or why not Monday or Friday? To prevent this 4 working days week, when people would add this additional free of communication days to just Saturday or Sunday. I made the instruction, And we should be avoiding any kind of synchronous communications, like calls, communications in messengers, and you were allowed to write emails, but you shouldn't be expecting to get the answer the same day. And we shouldn't be planning any releases on Tuesday night or Wednesday. There were some exceptions, of course. So if something really terrible happened, we should react. And hotline and support chats must be read the usual way. And if clients, there were some rare clients that declined and they were not happy with this idea, okay, some meetings, some planned meetings with clients could stay. We started in June 2021. And fortunately, all the engineering departments agreed to participate. I did all the instructions. I announced this Silence Day, like everywhere, in every channel, in email, all the team leads knew about it, all the heads of horizontal structures and vertical structures knew about it. So for the next few weeks, I was looking like this. So it's from Kung Fu Panda, if you know what is it. It is Po who is telling us that listen closely because I'm going to repeat this 10 times. But basically I repeated this not 10 times, but I don't know, 200 times or something like this. Why? Because there were people, usually it was managers, who were writing to me on Wednesday. Sure, on Wednesday. Your developers are not answering to me, what is going on? There were some people who apparently haven't ever heard about the Silence Day. And there were some people who heard about it, but they didn't know that it started yet. Okay. And there was the fourth kind of problem. People who just directly told me that I can, be silent on Wednesday, and they are not going to follow this rule. So for the first 3 problems, I explained and looked like Po. And I sent like multiple dozens of times a link to this instruction. And for the fourth kind of problem, I basically could do nothing. So they were like, okay, if you don't want to follow, what can I do? I cannot, unfortunately, ban you from Zoom. But yeah, I really wanted to. Then we had some progress. So for the first, I would say 6 or 8 weeks, all the communications started with, sorry for bothering you on Silence Day, but. So what we can say here, it is kind of a progress because people know that they are breaking the rule, but they just choose to break it. Well, okay, but they're at least aware of it. And it was kind of nice. Then 3 months last, and I had a poll on September of 2021. Basically, this poll showed pretty nice results. So there was total 97 people who responded to this poll. So 99% of them knew that Wednesday was a Silence Day. It was a success, wasn't it? And yes, there was this one person who still was not aware. Okay, somehow he or she was able to miss this information even after these 3 months of our MVP. 57%, luckily, 57% of people told us that they felt more focused on Wednesday. I was surprised because I thought that it will be like many people who, like, I don't know, like 75% or something. But okay, it is what it is, 57% is not that bad. And about the feelings about our Silence Day, yes, it was useful, told us about 64% of people, and yes, we still have this 1% who is not aware of that is happening right now. Okay, I don't know who was it, because it was an anonymous poll. We had some good opinions. I will not go through them because it is boring, but let us focus on some bad opinions. For example, this person thought that it is a nice idea, but it was not possibly to implement it because he was working on this particular project, and yes, it was a real problem. because client just declined that he didn't want to follow this new rule. So another person told us that he's disappointed because his team didn't want to do it with him. Yeah, it was really sad. And there was this third bad opinion that some managers insisted on regular calls. Well, that is when I again explained it. But the decision was to keep it because the majority of answers was good, and basically most of the people were pretty happy about this new change. So I was doing this presentation in August of 2022. It's been more than a year since the beginning, and I can show you some real example. Let's see here. This is a screenshot from my Zoom interface, and this is my start contacts, and this is a non-Wednesday screenshot. So we see here how many people are right now on calls, like almost all of them. And yes, most of them are managers or team leads or something like this. So basically, calls is what they do a lot. And now let us compare it to a screenshot from a regular Wednesday. Do you see it here? Sorry. Isn't it magical? It's like no calls at all. Yes, of course, sometimes they happen. Sometimes something happens and we should like have a meeting in Zoom. But most of the people, they understand why do we have this idea. They understand why did we do this change. And they use this Wednesday to, for example, go to the office of the client. I know such a person. They use this day to go to our physical office and to communicate to real people offline. Or they use it to code, or they use it to just work silently in peace. And when I was thinking about the subject of this presentation, I had several ideas, but basically some recent event happened, and I have a project manager, her name is Sasha, and she wanted to cheat. She wanted to have a meeting on Wednesday, and she needed like 5 people, except her, on this meeting. And she put it into the calendar, and you know what happened? Well, we started with POR, and we continue with POR. All of them just refused to do it, because first of all, it was a silence day, but it was not about just breaking a rule. They were feeling it. They were feeling that it is a very useful practice, and they already had plans for this particular day. So basically, after that, they came to me, and so they came to me and told me about this, and she came to me and told me about this, and she was both proud and disappointed. So she was disappointed because she wanted to cheat and she wasn't able to do it. But she was proud because after all, they understood why we were doing it, and they agreed to it, and they just did the right thing. And it is a great thing. If you remember, in the beginning of my presentation, I had a list of concerns from different people, and let me show you how these concerns resulted to be. So, we would not have enough time for us during the rest of the week for all of our meetings. No, as a result, for a fact, we can see that 4 days a week is absolutely enough to have all the meetings that were planned and for all the unplanned meetings. What about the other departments? Luckily, all the development departments agreed to participate. What about the clients? After all, most of the clients didn't mind to reschedule, and basically they didn't care if we had this meeting on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. This small amount of clients that were resistant in the beginning, almost all of them agreed to this new thing later, in a couple of months. What about the emergencies? Yes, if something happens, if something really bad happens, we should respond for sure. And why should we have only one day, one silence day? Because all the meetings are stupid. Well, I hate meetings. But unfortunately, it is not possible, at least for us, at least right now, to kill all of them. And unfortunately, we have to discuss a lot of things during meetings and make a lot of decisions. But it is better to have one free of communications day than not to have anything. And about this day that should be just overused and used as additional weekend, actually no, Wednesday is a pretty good choice because it is not convenient to use day in the middle of the week just to have rest because you don't have enough time. And we have this tool that analyzes like amount of code that we do and amount of pull requests, and no, during Wednesday it is not less than during other days, and actually it is slightly more than during the other days. So people do not stop working. So now some of my philosophical conclusions. First of all, it is good to try new things, especially if they are reversible. And if something doesn't work out, just stop doing it and try something new. So if you are a manager, try something in MVP format, like in small amount of team, in small amount of people, in one team, or for limited amount of time, and see, do you have some good results or bad results? Then, make instructions. Yes, I had a feeling that only one person out of 100 actually read them, but it really helped me that this instruction existed because I could send just a link to it and some small addition in my own words and not to explain from the very beginning what is a concept and here how this instruction actually looks like in our Confluence page. So it is like very simple, pretty big letters, some nice picture, and we have very simple rules. It is easy to read, and it is an absolutely must-have thing if you want to change, or implement new process. And we started with pandas, we continued with pandas, and we will end with pandas too. World is not black and white. It is not like Panda. So if you cannot do something perfectly, it doesn't mean that you cannot try and you cannot do something imperfectly. But after all, it will help. And even if you believe that, for example, all the meetings are pure evil, it doesn't matter that, no, it's it is better to improve it a little bit. It is better to have one day free of them. It is better to do at least something because this little something goes a long way, and one day maybe we will be able to have like 2 free of communication days or even 3. But right now we're not able to do it. But for now, it is enough to have only one day, and it is much better than just to sit, whine, and tell that there is nothing you can do. That is it. Thank you very much.